Hi, you're listening to Let's Stay Together Anime Break, which is our sub-series where we talk about the 2019 anime of Fruits Basket. I'm Ellen,
And I'm Kayla.
and today we're discussing episode 4 of the anime. So we're going to do our spoiler-free summary and discussion and then spoilery discussion. I have a couple minor spoilers to say as well, just like we did last time. In this episode of the anime, I think it follows chapter 5 of the manga pretty closely, except there's some minor kind of divergence in the middle of the episode, which I want to talk about. And also, it seemed like there was more damage to Shigure's house, which I thought
Yeah.
was really funny. If you want to listen to our kind of like discussion of the manga chapter that covers this, you could listen to our episode 3 called Home is Where the Property Damage Is. I'm pretty proud of my naming. I just want to throw that out there. Okay, so of course, this episode picks up where we left off in the last one, where Kagura is there. Kagura comes to, talks to Tohru, and then of course beats up Kyo right away because she realizes that he's back after being gone mysteriously for 4 months. Then we have the scene after that. Oh, I thought it was funny. I didn't make a note, but I thought it was funny when Kagura's beating him up. She like spins him and like lifts off into the air. There's a bunch of gifs of that going around, which is great. And then, so in the scene after, I thought it was cute. The scene after that, where after she like throws Kyo through the door and beats him up, and is like, "Who did this to you?" Where they're sitting at the table inside. There's this really funny. I mentioned in the last anime break that I like the background music, and one of the things I noticed this episode was that there's this really funny like wood flute or like recorder background music while they're sitting at the table, and I just thought it was really funny. Like the tone of it is really funny. Anyway, Shigure and Yuki's dialogue also where they're like, "Congratulations, you finally found a woman who will have you," or whatever. It was delivered perfectly. At least I watched the sub version, so it was pretty good. I'm sure the dub was good too. I feel like sarcasm is somehow universal. Anyway.
Yeah.
I also thought it was funny that in the flashback to their childhood, Kagura is holding 2 knives instead of one.
Yeah.
It's even more exaggerated, although it might be cut
Yeah.
off.
So like the manga had her with one knife. The first anime had her with a
The
big rock,
boulder.
and then the second anime had her with two
Two
knives.
knives. Just over the top.
Can't
um,
wait to see what she has in the
it's like the
2030 reboot.
reboot. Indeed. In the like Fruits Basket Arise version or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Fruits Basket, the legend continues.
yeah, Fruits Basket, I don't know, Reloaded. Anyway. My jokes are good. Anyway. Also, when I thought it was funny that when Kagura hugs Kyo and Yuki to like demonstrate that the members of the opposite sex can hug, and Yuki is like pushing her face away. He's like, there's like this sound effect where he's like kind of prying her off, and I thought that was really funny. Because I think in the manga he looks a little like disgruntled, but this is like beyond.
I don't think this is in the manga. They say like they specifically like tested that they can hug all of the other female members
Did
of
they?
the. Yeah.
Okay.
It said something like that, like, but like we know it doesn't
Oh,
work for them either, or something. I was like, so you just like deliberately hug each other when you first meet, just to check in case there's a.
just in case. Yeah, good, interesting, good catch. I didn't notice that. And then there's the part where she talks about all the things she loves about Kyo. And while I was watching it, I was like, I wonder if it's harder to voice act as Kagura or to animate her mouth talking so fast. I was like, so many words that she says in that one scene. I thought that was funny. And it's very like, I don't know. It's a
I
great
do feel like
interpretation of
Kagura
the
is
manga.
a tricky character to act,
I
just in
think
general.
so. I didn't watch.
You have to go from like really cutesy shojo dialogue to like the really aggressive, over the top dialogue, and then you also have to have some pretty emotional and vulnerable scenes in there too. So
Yeah. Yeah, I do like I didn't watch the dub, but in the sub, like definitely props to the voice actress like nailed it, I felt.
mhm.
Like especially the first scene where she comes in and she's like, "Oh, I missed Kyo," and then she's like, "I missed you so much," or whatever, and like
Yeah.
punches him. It was pretty good. I was like, "Yes, this Kagura is on point."
Hmm.
And then we got the interesting part is that it transitioned into some kind of like divergences from the manga, such as the shower scene with Kyo, super muscular Kyo. Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't watch the
Lucy
anime.
actually looks like
He looks like he's been training
martial arts for a long time and could actually beat someone else.
Yeah, and I didn't watch
the skinny children in the manga.
I didn't watch the.
I say that with affection.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I affectionately care for the manga. There was someone posted a comment earlier that I was about to send you before we recorded that was like, Natsuki Takaya, I don't like drawing muscly figures, and then it was like TMS Entertainment. We can help you with that. That was really funny. But I didn't watch the anime like right away. I watched it this morning, and it's Sunday. Like we record on Sunday, so I saw a couple of gifs of and like picked scenes that people had posted first, and I was like, oh my god! The first time that I saw it, I was like, what is this? Is suddenly not a shoujo anymore. Anyway, oh, it's really funny. But yeah, so that was nice and interesting. I thought it was a good divergence. He's like, he takes a shower right away. It's like he's kind of is trying to escape Kagura, and then he can't because she comes into the bathroom too. And then also, I was actually really happy that they added the scene where they're fixing the doors, which is not in the manga, and it was something that I liked from the original anime.
Mm-hmm.
And Kagura adds the cat face, which I'm sure you noticed. We talked about them adding the animal faces, I think. Animal, like, heads in the paper, I think. We talked about this scene before, I know. And then another divergent, like, all of this part that I'm talking about is all this divergence, where Kagura makes a bunch of food. She decides to make dinner, so of course she makes a bunch of food. She makes all of Kyo's favorite food. And then she goes up to get Kyo, who's lifting weights, so he's, like, back to, gotta maintain that musculature, just saying. And Kyo's like, I won't eat it. And then they fight. And then she slams him through the floor onto the table, which I thought was like, it's funny. It's overkill, which is like very Kagura, I think. Yeah. And then I guess
like all the rest of the episode has like lingering shots of the patch jobs.
Yes,
on both the roof and the
because she knocks out the light. So like when they come back, they're using like a candle. The table is like duct taped together. It's so good. But then of course Kagura goes out to get food, and Shigure is like, I'll go talk to her, which was kind of, it seemed a little bit forced, but then we get that like I'm jealous too scene, which was nice. Like the way that they kind of cut it in was nice. Tohru goes to meet Kagura at the grocery store, which was a good scene. And then this gives them the opportunity to have this like kind of heartfelt walk and talk on the street. And Kagura tells her about that when she met Kyo, he was drawing fried eggs. And then they kind of bond, and they carry the bag together, which is cute. And then they cook together. And then, and you see the duct tape and the candle, which is really funny. And then Tohru goes up to find Kyo on the roof, which is also a great scene, and it was like just as awesome animated, I felt.
Also, like her slowly crawling.
Yes,
she was talking.
I noticed that, and I thought it was funny. I was like, why is he so far away? Why did he crawl all the way across the roof? And she looks really hesitant about it too, which was, I think, is in character. And then Kyo was like, oh, you probably like don't. This is probably boring. And then of course she freaks out and does her like right straight, and also I can't say that I noticed it because I also read on Tumblr where people were like, she punched him with her left arm.
Did you? I noticed that too. I couldn't remember if she did that in the manga or not.
I don't think she does, but I also thought that it was really also in character, funny. And it was funny. Because she's like basically like freaking out so much that she's not paying attention or whatever. Yeah, it was really funny. And then of course she convinced him to come down. And then I thought it was really sweet how Kagura made Kyo the plate with a fried egg. Like it was actually set up in a really nice like 3-beat where she talks about it, she sees the eggs, and then she makes a fried egg for him on his hamburger. It was really cute.
That was nice. And I think it adds to like Kagura does genuinely know Kyo pretty well and likes him. It's the way she goes about it is not good, but there is, it does show that she has some genuine
feeling,
thoughtfulness there to her too.
She does. It's just the way that she like, it's not like she doesn't know his favorite food. She's just the way that she like made all of it at once and whatever. Went overkill. And I thought like Kyo's reaction was nice too, because he also, I think we can tell from the anime and the manga at this point that where we are in our kind of interpretation of all of these and where the anime is at right now, you can tell that he also, I think he cares about Kagura. He just doesn't feel the same way as she does. And so the scene where he's like eats the egg and she's like waiting for him, and it's like it's also nice. It like kind of he's like acknowledging her, her relationship with him, which was nice too. It was a good scene for Kagura and Kyo, and also Tohru on the roof. So it was good. And then of course we got, after that, the next day, she stays overnight, and I was kind of disappointed that Kyo wasn't brushing his teeth. Like we talked about when they're leaving, Kyo's trying to brush his teeth, and she's like hanging off of him. I mean, she was still hanging off of him, but he just wasn't brushing his teeth, which is like, I don't really care, but I thought it was, I was hoping they would have that, and they didn't. And then we had the same scene where Toru's like, I figured it out, Kagura's the boar, and I was like, yes, it was so good. Then of course Kagura leaves and they go to school.
Kagura's boar form is super cute.
It's adorable. It's just as adorable, if not more adorable. And the way Kagura kind of like, Kagura, when Tohru picks her up, in the anime I think she's just kind of holding her under her arms, but she kind of picked her up and like cuddled her, which was really cute too. And then of course Kagura then is like, she's like chomping on Kyo's head in that scene, in the scene where Tohru is like, oh, I understand why there's so many things that you like about Kyo or whatever. And Kagura like misinterprets that and then is like chomping on Kyo's head, which was really funny.
And he's got like comedy blood running down
his
face.
Yeah, he does. I thought it was funny because in the other one she just like she punched him and then I think she was just like hanging off of him or whatever. And it was cute. And then of course Kagura goes to school and Yuki talks about the strawberries and then Kyo gives Toru that little like smack on the head and that was cute, just like the manga. And then, of course, she goes to the library. While she's picking out the books, I thought the little flashback she had of them was really cute. I don't think that was in the manga. So she has this little, like, memory of Kyo on the roof and a memory of Yuki with smiling after they took care of the plants during the storm. And I thought that it was, like, nicely kind of put together as well, like the way those things are cut. And then, of course, her teacher comes in and tells her that she has to go take a call. And then she takes the call in the office. And then we find out it's her grandfather. And then the last scene is like the same kind of like dialogue from the manga where it says that she fooled herself into thinking she could become part of the family. And that was the end of the episode. So that was nice. In terms of things to discuss, I think we already said this, but I really liked all the additions, like the additional scene with Kagura. And I'm glad they added the door fixing scene. It was different than the anime, but it was also good. I don't know. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, I think they're a good idea because I think just I think Kagura's introduction in the original is very of its time. Like of her character type.
Yeah.
It's kind of playing off of that kind of character type. I feel like that was kind of common at the like late 90s kind of part. Yeah. But now it's not really treated as like, it's not really something that's like written straight anymore.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm having trouble.
It's
something that like that kind of like over the top, like
obsessive
type character.
Tsundere, yeah,
like, yeah, almost not quite tsundere, but the kind of over the top violence for the person they love, kind of thing. Like that was kind of a common gag character back at the time. So she's kind of introduced into that environment, and now it's not really, you don't really have that character treated straightly anymore. It's usually like a subversion or something. And so I think help to kind of introduce some of Kagura's depth earlier on rather than just being kind of an outdated gag character.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is interesting. I almost wrote that the scene, like in my notes when I was thinking about it, I almost wrote that the scene where they're doing their walk and talk, Tohru and her doing their walk and talk back from the grocery store, I was like, and then they have a true tsundere moment, and then it's like, well, she's not. She's just like both. It's like tsundere is when they're like really harsh up front and then turn and like come around eventually, right? It's just Kagura's both at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not really tsundere, but like it is a character type that you can see a lot. So like
violent, like, obsessive,
comedically violent toward their love interest.
Yes, yeah, you're right, and I think you're right. These like additional scenes help like modernize her character a little bit. There is still comical violence.
Yeah. You can't lose that without losing Kagura.
No, it's part of her character. So that
I think it helped introduce introduce some depth to Kagura that she doesn't get until later on in the manga.
Yes. I thought it was interesting that in both of the animes, both felt like it was somehow the production team, someone thought it was important to add more scenes with just Tohru and Kagura together. So basically, like in the manga, you just get all the character development kind of between the two of them happens like right at the end of the chapter, like that scene where she's like, Tohru is like, I understand why you left Kyo, and she misinterprets it or whatever. And then in both the 2001 anime and the 2019 anime, you get this like these scenes where it's just the two of them together and they have kind of like this little heartfelt connection, and Tohru is able to kind of get on Kagura's good side in both cases.
Yeah.
So I thought it's just interesting that both, I don't know, it's helpful to the story. It makes their connection stronger earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like on its own, the chapter is kind of short on content.
Yeah, there's a lot of violence.
Yeah, like it's too much to be like half of an episode, but it's not quite enough to be a whole episode.
Yeah.
So they both kind of needed to add something to it, and I think the Tohru and Kagura relationship was a natural thing to want to add. So I think they both made good choices there.
Yep, I
think
expanding
the content of the chapter.
Yep, I agree with you. So that was nice. So in our normal episode, we have a damage to Shigure's house counter. So I made one for this episode. Let me tell you.
This episode alone is more than.
I think it is.
The manga.
Oh wait, I can check. So in our notes in the manga so far, for all of the chapters that we've covered, which is up to like 15 or 16, we have the Shigure. It's like the roof one time by Kyo, the table. The kind of like paper doors or interior doors were 3, and then the wall was 1. That was Kagura. So that's what I just count 6 in the anime. It's 6 in this one. No, it's 7 in this one episode. It's like Kagura throws Kyo through the back door or through the paper door. Kagura pushes him through the repaired door. So like they're in the middle of repairing them, and she's like, "I'll make dinner," and pushes him out of the way. Kagura pushes him through slams him through the floor and breaks the table at the same time. And then she pushes Kyo into the TV when she's running out, and then she breaks the wall. So there's like twice as much in this one episode, it's one episode. But it was comical, which was I thought it was funny. And then it gave us the opportunity to see like their handiwork when they duct tape the table back together.
Yeah, the duct tape table was cracking me up.
It was really funny. It's just like it seems like Yuki's like, "I'll order food," and then Toru's like, "No, I'm like, don't order food," and then she leaves, and then in the meantime, what's implied is that they taped the table back together and found a candle.
Sat there hungry for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely thought when the food thing was happening, I thought that was going to lead to them ordering delivery, and the delivery guy was the one who ran into Kagura instead of the paper guy. But
but no,
they brought it back around.
No, they did. The paper guy. It was good. And then I thought the scene with them in the grocery store with Tohru or Kagura in the grocery store was cute. It was a good addition. And I was like, she went to the grocery store, and I was like, didn't she not have her bag? And then like right in the scene after, she can't pay, and I was like, I was right. Yes. Proud of myself for remembering a tiny fact in an anime.
Yeah. Anyway. I also enjoy that the fridge was literally completely empty. After she was done with it.
Yes. There's not even ketchup.
Yeah.
Yes. That was really funny. It was good. Okay, I have a couple spoiler things to say. Did you have any other non-spoiler things to say?
Nope.
Okay, sweet. So anyway, so thank you for listening. That concludes this episode of our podcast where we talk about episode 4 of the anime. As always, we are on Tumblr. We're Stay Together Podcast. We're on Twitter. You can contact us. You can email us or staytogetherpodcast@gmail.com. I love getting people's asks and questions and stuff, so please keep sending them. It makes me really happy. And then
we just send them to each other, even though we both have access.
Yeah, like look,
ask the question.
Look what this person sent. It's really charming. It makes my week every time we get one. So thank you so much for your engagement with us. It's really kind. So next week, we're going to talk about a couple spoilers, and then next week we'll talk about episode 5 of the anime, which it will be heartfelt because yeah. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're back to talk about spoilers. The main spoiler that I have is about the fried eggs.
Yeah.
I checked. I was like, wow, that's an interesting thing to add to this episode. And I liked how they incorporated it, like how she makes the fried eggs at the end for Kyo.
Yeah.
But it's from chapter 68. It's like volume 10, just to contextualize that. So it's basically in the middle of the series. And I thought it was really cute.
Yeah, I liked that coming in earlier.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a good touch. And I think it's also, you mentioned, we talked about something about the anime before, and I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure if we even talked about it when we recorded, but you're like, I think that they are adding little touches to the anime to allude to things that like manga fans will recognize.
Yeah.
And so I think this is also one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was nice. As a manga fan, of course, I thought I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at the end of the episode, so one thing I thought was interesting, in that same scene where Kagura is talking, doing their walk and talk, Tohru is like, oh, you've liked Kyo for a long time. And then Kagura doesn't say anything. Or, like, she doesn't reply to that specifically. And then she's just like, thank you. And then they carry the bags. And so I think that also kind of alludes to, because, like, in that fried egg, like, that scene, I don't think the first time it's introduced in the manga, but I think later they return to it again, and Kagura is like, I pitied Kyo. So it's actually all like, so it's kind of, it's like, if you don't know that, I think you're just like, oh, she's just like whatever, nervous or doing her tsundere thing, or she's not answering. But I noticed it right away, and I was like, oh, she's like not necessarily replying to that in that scene. I thought that was interesting. And then there are a couple other spoilers. Well, like, I guess not the spoiler, but I really loved, I don't know why I put this in the spoilers. Oh, just because I don't want to spoil Kyo and Tohru as a pairing. So we got their little, like, the tap on the head at the end of the episode from Kyo on the back of Tohru's head. Yeah. And it was so delicate, and I was like, oh, the best little love tap. It made me really happy.
Yeah, it's cute.
And then the other thing I noticed was that Mayuko is the one who comes in and tells Tohru to answer the call. I was like, yay, Mayuko's here. Oh, so nice. Like, welcome back. It's funny.
Another nice little detail, too.
Yeah. And, like, it's hard to tell that it's her, but everybody, I think people who've read it are like, oh, it's Mayuko. Like, there she is.
Yeah.
Or seen the anime before, too. You would know that it's their teacher, the same teacher's back.
Yeah, I like that, because I always felt like she was in the background a lot earlier than she was. But
well, it's funny. Not. In the episode that we're doing this week where we talk about the manga, like on our regularly scheduled episode, Mayuko also makes her first appearance.
Yeah.
So it's interesting timing, fate-wise for us. But yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, Mayuko's finally here.
Yeah, because they have, like, off-screen teachers talking to people. And I'm like, that had to be Mayuko, wasn't it? Like, in my memories. But I
think it's always I think it's the PE teacher every time, the guy with short hair. The one who was running the race. He's also the one who tells Tohru, or at least it seems, in my head at least, in my memory, it's similar. It might be a different guy, but I'm pretty sure it's him.
It's just like an off-screen teacher.
Yeah.
Like, you can't see them. There's just a word bubble of a teacher talking to them. So.
Every time they're in class, until this time where Mayuko shows up in the chapter that we're reading, which is like 15 or 16, there's like never a teacher there. Like, even in the anime, sorry, we should focus this, I guess, but in the anime, when they talk about, well, like when Kyo goes to school and jumps out of the window and stuff, which I don't think they must have done that, and I'm just not thinking about it.
They did. It was like in episode 2 or something.
Yeah. So when Kyo goes to school and jumps out
of an even higher window.
Right. That's right. Yeah, he jumps out of an even higher window. He jumps out of like a third floor window.
Yeah.
So, like, in that scene, there's no teacher. And then in the scene where they're playing Daihinmin, there's no teacher. And in the scene where they're voting on their, like, thing that they're going to do for the Culture Fest, there's no teacher. So, like, she's just absent. She's completely absent. But then I was really happy that she showed up in that one scene, just to call Tohru to tell her to go to the office. Do you have any other spoiler thing? Those are all my spoiler things that I noticed.
Yeah, that's all I had.
I enjoyed, the fried eggs was cute. It was a good addition. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed how Kagura didn't answer too, so it's interesting. I mean, I don't know if that's like how it's meant to be interpreted, but that's how I'm choosing to interpret it. So yeah, it was cool. It was a good episode. I mean, they're all good, but I particularly enjoyed this one because we're starting to get some. It's just like the first couple are just like meet some characters, and it's the same as every kind of series, right?
Yeah.
So now we're getting into it, which is nice. And I'm looking forward to, I almost said it when we were talking about the non-spoilers, but I'm looking forward to the next episode because I'm sure it's going to be nice and heartfelt and hearty. We're going to go pick her up from Grandpa's house, from her terrible family. In that case, I think that's all we have to talk about for this episode. Thank you for listening, as always. Next time we're going to talk about episode 6 of the anime. No, next time we're going to talk about episode 5. Sorry. This isn't the second time I just... in this recording. I think I said the wrong thing
twice.
Next
time we're going to talk about the next episode.
Thank you for clarifying.
Whichever one we talked about this episode, next episode will be the one after that.
It's almost like it's predictable. All right. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.